Louisa, Peer Support. I am a Navy veteran, first Gulf War, and I will be using this live broadcast as part of my Viscit Method series. And just a blurb, this is the Viscit Method, David Viscit. I have um, been in chapter 4, um, making my first tape, who you are and how you got that way. And in the series, I've been, if you look on my YouTube channel, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, um, by just going on my profile, there's my Instagram, there's my YouTube channel, and various other my how to connect with me on social media. my first tape was uh, describing myself, and that tape was about um, be positive despite any circumstances. Um, my my next tape was what kind of person are you? And on that tape, I talked about I'm resilient and I'm obedient to God's timing. Um, um, Next tape, what do other people think of you? And I kind of combined that. Also made some comments on the fourth question: are they being fair? Actually, I have to add on that. Are they being fair? I did a rant on. I did a rant on a video that I watched. Someone's take about polygamy. Um, I am polyamorous, and hence the name Louisa on Poly Dating. And so, welcome, Maxwell. Um, Thanks for joining the broadcast, but I'm just going through a recap of what exactly my Get Method series that I'm in for YouTube, for my YouTube channel. And so I had a rant on with a response on what was my take on polyamory, and it wasn't really like stating my position as much as the theme of explore, you know, as people have different lifestyles, I'm a big supporter of LGBT because I'm bisexual, and um, and I know for me that has been a struggle all of my life. I came out I came out in February of 2015, and got a little bit more active as far as putting my voice um, to the struggles of LGBT, especially in my community, and getting more active in volunteer organizations or for those who are in the LGBT population. So this is just a continuation on, to just to bring awareness I'm not trying to change your mind on your position on anything. I'm the last person to do that. Hello, Ember. Is that Ember? EMB. And um, thank you. Let me fan you back, Ember. Thanks for becoming a fan. You're from Florida. People need to look past one's scars because their true beauty is on the inside. Visible or not, we all have our own scars. That is very insightful. And, um, and so, like I said, this is just a continuation on my series. The tape before, I did a live broadcast, and it was about what makes me happy. And I made some comments about, about dating, what makes me happy. Got into some specifics about that. So you're more than welcome to watch that video under my mental health recovery playlist on YouTube. And so the next question in the biscuit method: what makes you sad? Before I get into, hey Dan, how are you? I just did a recap, intro. Chevy, hey. Just did a recap of what's going on in my series that I'm making for the Viscit method. I'm making a series of survey tapes that I have put on my YouTube channel. If you'd like to subscribe to my YouTube channel, all you have to do is go to my profile, and all my social media connects are there. But I'm doing a check-in. I'm doing a check-in right now. I slept. Wow, did I sleep. I got home yesterday from taking my friend to her counseling appointment. It was hot. It was hot yesterday, and I started off pretty much. I woke up early. I was up at about 5:30 yesterday, but I did some, housekeeping as far as reviewing my what to be prepared for the next question, what makes me sad. And that's the thing for me, is to get a grasp of sadness. Look at what's happy first, and so you don't dip so deep down in the sadness. Start off with the positive before you reflect on the negative. YouNow Anonymous. I'm just doing a check-in right now. And this broadcast is being recorded for my to continue on with my Viscit method series. So I spent the day yesterday. Woke up early. I was reviewing my happiness tape, and then I got to talk with a friend that I haven't talked to in a long time. He's out of Switzerland, and he's a chef. Actually, he's an instructor for a school of cuisine in Switzerland. and we're just, just catching up. And so I got to spend my morning, um, with him, and then it put me in a pretty good mood. And then I had another friend that came over. We, he's one of my close friends for years, and we volunteer with the nations and everything, and we were scheduled to go into Mental Health America. It has their meetings on Thursdays, so we were kind of just catching up as well, and so I got to talk to him in the morning. So it set the tone. It set the tone for the day, getting with and but after he left, what do you call it? Because he's been looking at my mower, trying to figure out my riding lawnmower. He fixed a solenoid on it one time and got it going, but now it's throwing a belt. So he's trying to figure that out. So it was already starting to get hot, and see, weather kind of affects me, especially heat and everything. But he reminded me to turn my ceiling fan on. I ever since I've pretty much had it on all the time, but while I was dating, dating, my boyfriend didn't like the ceiling fan. He didn't like the air blowing on him, and I subconsciously kept it off. And I've been kind of burning up in here in my bedroom without, airflow and stuff. I have the AC, I had the AC set on 78, so I brought it down to about 75, but it still wasn't being cool in here. And one thing that I just didn't even think about is I didn't have the ceiling fan on. And it's just one of those things that, taking one other habit that I took on in that relationship that affected my comfort. Shit. Oh my goodness. So my friend is just like, and been helping me transition back, from that relationship that I was getting a grasp of who I am again, and that's one of the things that he noticed is when I was dating this guy, I talk a little bit about enmeshment in some of my other tapes, but I had just got so that I started losing myself. And one of the basic things that I lost is right before I met him, I was really into YouNow. I was having fun, meeting people, and there was a lot of things that I had going on in my life, what I wanted to do for work, trying to get a guy and everything. And I had a lot of things planned, but when I started dating this guy, I stopped doing it. I just totally, and that That's sad for me. That's sad that I lost focus in myself. And that's a change, um, that there's something not, not right when you date someone and you lose yourself and you get focused on the other person. Um, a lot of the backstory was, I dated this person before 11 years. When I dated him that time, um, I was the same way. I pretty much was enmeshed with him, and then I got to a point after about 3.5 months that I couldn't decide between him and then another I was going on and off with over 6 years, and I left town. I just left town. But the result of that is I got sober, and 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 I started my recovery. And like I said, it's been going on for 11 years now. My recovery from alcohol and marijuana, and then in the process, in 2008, I started looking into my mental illness with bipolar and PTSD. And it's um but anyway. So that's how I started my morning. And with the fan being on, I got real comfortable and I took a nap, before I went to my support meeting, and just how comfortable I was with that airflow. I was like, wow, it was nice to have, and it was nice for it to be cool. And my friend, texted me, to kind of woke me up before the meeting, and tell me, he was there with donuts. He encouraged me to get up. It's like, I will get out of bed for donuts. Made a little cop at heart, I guess. And so I ended up at that meeting, did a check-in there. And, these past couple of weeks since I've been back, it's the breakup has been, it's getting a little bit over a month now. And so in June, well, yeah, I started after a week after the breakup, I started taking some training back on my job track. And so pretty much, I've had some kind of training in the week, since the breakup, just to try to get get back into my life again. Because, oh my goodness, when I was in his life, it was so foreign to me because we kind of have different mindsets as far as was I'm like I said, I'm a very optimistic person, and I kind of always seeing the silver lining and stuff. And the way he explained it to me, especially with, he's into comics and stuff like that. These alternate universes in the Marvel universes, and then in the Marvel universe, look, never let the universe know what you're doing because they will mess it up. The universe will mess it up. And I was like, I don't know. I don't believe in that. I think, I believe the universe wants good for you, you know. But I mean, he had a different outlook. And, over a process of time, I started seeing how, you know, things were happening to him. And that kind of made me sad because, things were happening to him. I don't know why. Yeah, yeah, Creek Walker, yeah. But this is the thing, and this is only my perspective, of course, and there's so many perspectives. Even that concept about karma, you attract what you truly want. So if you want to have a good life, yeah, if you want to have a good life, you tend good things for that, and everybody's definition of good is, that's based on your belief system and your attitude. What, I'm just using good and bad as a reference, not as a moral issue. Yeah, exactly. Always think positive thoughts and good things will happen. That's pretty much when I was dating this person, I noticed that um, he had more negative thoughts than I normally had. And by spending time with this person, I found I was starting to think negatively. And I was, getting involved in his universe. And eventually led to the breakup. Because in my mind's eye, I thought it would end, and it did, you know. Um, but you tend to meet people for whatever reasons, and I like to think that just that 4-month experience reminds me that if I am constantly thinking about negative things, that will happen, And I was living in a lot of fear. And I had gotten out of this mindset of living in fear. And doing this for years, learning how to, face my fears and stuff. Oh yeah. So you're going through a negative thought pattern. And so Walker, you're going through a negative thought pattern. You're trying to get back in a positive. Well, I know this is what helped me. I had to find somebody that was positive. and no matter how you do it, I was just fortunate to meet somebody. I actually met him on another another website called Chat Hour, and and he was just smiles all the time. We got to talking, and what helped me was his outlet. Thank you. And that's what I'm saying. Whatever it takes, you know, that's why people watch inspirational videos. That's why people trying to chime in on, podcasts that are very encouraging. One of the reasons why I do this, a step, you know, a step towards thinking more positively. I started my YouTube, my mental health recovery um, series with the first video I made was be positive despite any circumstances. Because, as a result, sadness, you know. Yeah, sure, Walker. I'm glad you chimed in. Granted, I made this yeah, I made this in this series, um in this tape, the topic is what and um and that's what makes me sad. That's what makes me sad when I lose the grasp of happiness. When you lose happiness, you sink into sadness. Um, so it was important for me to make the what makes me happy um, tape, because now I have a reference point. I can always tap into that, and if I'm veering away from that happiness, there are things that I can do. There are things I can do to be happy. Um, death has death has this way. I mean, like, I'm a widow myself, so it'll be 3 years in October on Halloween, as a matter of fact. Grief has this way of just coming in waves. It's an ebb and flow, and then they're just sorry for you, Walker. I really am, but I'm just, I can relate to um, that sadness that kind of comes out of the blue sometimes, um, from death, death of a loved one. Um, and it's, my first year was tough. I was in a lot of isolation, and what helped me actually was music, and I still use music today as I can use music in two ways. I can use music for those sad times to allow me to feel the sadness, but know that someone out there has felt that. Great, you play guitar? Good on you. I own a guitar. I tried to learn. I have a CF Martin in my closet right now, and with the hopes of returning to it. Yeah, music is a healer, Walker. It really is. Just recently did a trial membership for Pandora, which I love so much these past couple of days. I'm building my thumbprint. Yeah, I've got a CF Martin, Drott, Droughtnout Junior. Is it Jot now? I think that's what it's called. Yeah. Yeah, I paid $100 for it. Yeah. And then the accessory. And by the time I was over getting the accessories and stuff like that, dreadnought, that's it. There you go. That's what it is. A dreadnought junior. That's what it is. I got my words all messed up. Yeah, a dreadnought. Um, it's a beautiful guitar, you know. Um, I keep it in my closet in a like in the coolest place in the house. And try to check on the humidifier as much as possible. But keep it in the case since I'm a smoker. Try not to to get nicotine on it and everything. Try to keep it protected. Yeah, I think so too. I think the junior is. Yeah, I do take care of it. It's a good guitar. I know when I wanted to learn how to play it, but actually it's been a year. Came up. It was July. I bought it July 5th. I bought it right after July 4th, and I was like, "This is it. I'm just gonna buy me a guitar." And I went around and I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna pay for a good one. Um, I'm gonna make an investment." And it's always there. It's always there as a reminder. That's how much I love music. Yeah, I did see those guitar lessons. I can't remember the series, but they um, I like what I first started off with was Neil Young. Um, and well, first I was listening to George Harrison. I was listening to albums from my birth year, 1970. And I started listening to George Harrison, and then I got My Sweet Lord as a ringtone, and I wanted to learn how to play that. And then I came across Neil Young's album. First albums I bought was Freedom, and I bought that um, on July 3rd, right before 4th of July. And then um, then I the album that came out my birth year was hey Pump Dros, welcome. um okay. Let me just make it pretty clear. This is a mental health exercise, so there's no trolling. There's no trolling on my broadcast. So Pump, you're free to leave if you continue to troll. But anyway, Walker was talking about was listening to albums on my from my birth year, 1970, and one that I came across was Neil Young's "After the Gold Rush," and that that's such a beautiful album, and um I played it over and over again, and I started, getting more album, and in my truck I've got at least five Neil Young albums in my truck. Yeah, really? He played Heart of Gold? Oh, I am so excited. I'm so excited for you. That's great. I love it. Dun, 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 dun. I love that. Wow, that's great. So, uh, how old are you, Walker? Um, I mean, if you were listening to Neil Young in '75, how old are you? Mm, uh, it's so funny. Which song do you know from George Harrison? Yeah, you were 12 in '75. I was 5 years old in '75. So you had the privilege of being born in the '60s. How wonderful. It's sad. You know what's so funny? It's like this is supposed to be about sadness, but we're talking about being happy. Yeah, I guess that's the effect of, like I said, my series. I started my series because I had an increase in my Risperdal injection, as a way for me to get over my breakup and everything, since I had like a lot of psychosocial conditions going, my job hours and stuff like that. So, one of the reasons why, I've done a timestamp is started, making these videos to see how effective the medication is, and it's working pretty well. But okay, so you're a child of the '60s. Awesome. What other songs do you play? Pretty well songs to play. Listen to music. I've got my Echo Dot going on in the background. Um, I'm on Pandora right now listening to Fleet Mac radio, so it's it's fitting music for what we're talking about. You were born in 19. That's good. I'm sure you've seen a lot of things, experienced a lot of things, especially being a teenager during the '70s. How wonderful. Mm, yes. See, I was a teenager during the '80s, but the the '70s, you know, I didn't start listening to music. I mean, I started with Motown, of course. That's what my dad was listening to, and he had this like Motown Greatest Hits album. So, so you're saying even white people could dance in the '60s and '70s? Saturday Night Fever. There was a lot disco, man. I'm telling you, all you needed was a ball, something lights, right? Just follow the light so you can move, right? Oh, yeah, like my brother is like really big into the Bee Gees, and there's just something like Bee Gees is that secret, like that you're a child of the '70s who are into the Bee Gees. There is nothing like them. there has not. There has nothing. There is nothing. There's nothing that equates to the Bee Gees. Yeah, I mean and um, that's one of those go-to bands. You know, that's one of those go. For me, there's just something about Led Zeppelin. I love getting the lead out. Yeah, right. Yeah. I'll have to I'll have to make a I'll have to change my I'm on Fleetwood Mac radio right now. We'll have to Let me start building a playlist for the Bee Gees. That'll be awesome. Um let's see. I like create a station. Here we go with the Bee Gees. There we go. Oh, love it. I'm so proud. I'm trying to start a playlist here. I know, can you hear it? It's really light. More than a woman, more than a woman to you. Mm. Mm. Let me see. I'm trying to pull it up. Mm. Yeah, I try to keep it like in the background. I use these live broadcasts um, as my for my series, and if I have music playing that's distinguishable, um, they will um, YouTube will like you know like block the audio if you're making a video with music playing in the background, or that's distinguishable. So Yeah, YouTube will censor you for playing music. If it's against their copyright. So, um, I have a lot of broadcasts where I play like YouTube videos and just hanging out with friends and stuff like that. The audio was censored, or some music they will block your video worldwide. I have Mustafa, welcome to hey. You're in a mental health exercise with me and Walker. Um, the topic is what makes you sad, but we've pretty much been talking about music, and we are listening to the Bee Gees. Mustafa, I'm from Texas. I'm from Texas. Um, oh yeah, let me extend an invitation. As always, Walker, you're willing to get, uh, you're always willing. If you ever want a guest, just let me know. Um, the, really, where did you live in? Where in Texas did you live, Walker? So, H Town, Houston, huh? I met somebody else from a little girl, about 14, from Houston. Awesome. Houston's a real big peer recovery town now. And there's that triangle with Houston, Austin, and San Antonio. That's a really good area for peer recovery right now. Yeah, Houston is a big place. I actually, when I left Abilene, when I was 18, um, I lived in Lamarck. Um, I, I, I gave birth to my son in Galveston in '88, October October 5th, '88, and I actually joined the Navy out of the Houston MEPS. So I was in that area for about a little less than a year. You love Texas, Mustafa? That's Texas is one of those states you just don't forget about living in. John Seeley Hospital, and that's in Houston, Galveston. Oh, okay. Yeah, my son was born at UTMB, University of Texas Medical Branch, the teaching hospital there. Yeah, there was there was something about me that was actually, I guess I could tell you, it's kind of, it's medical science, I guess. Yes. No, Mustafa, I'm not married. I'm a widow. I'm single. Um, but why I was able to be in that research hospital, I noticed like underneath my arms, I was lactating. And what they found is that I actually had an extra set of breasts under my arm. And when I got pregnant, they started filling up with milk. So, yeah. So, I actually have four breasts. So I kind of feel kind of Trekky. They're just they have like there's little pimples on them that are my nipples on them. So it's like, yeah, they're just underdeveloped. They're just underdeveloped breasts underneath. Hmm. So that's a little unknown fact about me. So that's why I was at a teaching hospital because they wanted to. So I was able to. So they were able to pay for my. they they were. Um, I qualified to have my son born there because they wanted. I agreed to research. Mm. Oh, what a night! Let me update. Um, since we are no longer in doing Fleetwood Mac radio, we are doing Bee Gees radio. Thanks to Walker for the suggestion. There we go. I just had to lay in bed and let people poke and prod on me. That's all I had. And they had like the interns, come and come to your bedside and everything. So you're basically on display. And they ask you questions. And at the time, I was like 18, so I'm like, I didn't know. I didn't know. No, actually, have them like down their chest, um, like, like a dog, like how a dog has, you know, that go down their chest for. But what it just seemed like it's kind of like from like right here, there's like a separation between the two breasts. And like I kind of was always curious about if I just had surgery to get rid of the separation to let him drop down. I just I'm not much into corrective surgery, I mean, it's just who you are and just accepting that's the way God made me. But yeah, it was it's just a little interesting fact. I'm like to wear tank tops. I have to get the tanks that are not big loops, but short loops. Um, so it's because it is a breast, and it's got breast tissue in it, so it does like this to it, and instead of people thinking that it's just fat, but it is fat, because that's what breast is, but it's actually a breast instead of just people thinking that I just have this big ring of fat, like right here. That's what it is. Wow, we have taken a tangent. What else do we have in common, Walker? So where are you at now, Walker? It's like, let's see. You're in the U.S. You are at Let's Space Ghost. Ooh, Space Ghost. I remember that. Noble Canadian, Uncle Fishy. These are all your ats on. I take it on. I have to subscribe. I can't subscribe to your Twitter. You're in Louisiana. Fans. Oh, okay. So you do broadcasts? Do you broadcast on YouNow, or do you just kind of hang out? Oh, so you are. Oh, so you are a smoker too. That's another thing we have in common. Did you do a cast this morning? Oh, well, I'm sorry I missed it, but I hadn't met you yet. So I fanned you up. So you should come up in my notifi. You should come up in my notifications. Mm. Did you? You fanned me a while back. Yeah, earlier in the broadcast. We all love, all love, don't throw it all away. Oh, I'm liking. Yeah, really? Is that right? Did you? What? I don't remember. Oh, um, so you don't remember me, but it's okay. What was that? What was the conversation that we had? Oh, you're not easy to forget. You're my Bee Gees guy. See, if you connect with me in music, I'll remember. My, you know, music is like the soundtrack. And I am calling you Walker. I hope that's what you want to go by. And see, and what's going to be neat is, this is being recorded. I'll have a timestamp. Creaky? Okay, creaky. Thank you, because you're a nice person. Well, thank you. It's, yeah, it's always good to be fanned for being so creaky. Hmm. Mm. Mm. Playlist. Um. Okay, creaky. That's good. That's good to know. So how long have you been married? Oh, there we go. We are on BJ's radio. Oh, I love it. I think this is Olivia Newton-John. 28 years, that's a long time. Mm, I love Olivia Newton-John. That's an awesome soundtrack, Grace. Hopelessly devoted. Really? That's long. That's a long. Were you guys like high school sweethearts? I I don't technically no. Yeah. See the my first husband, I met him my senior year of high school. We were working at a Sonic drive. You married the boss. You wouldn't be surprised about those work relationships, right? She still is the boss. That's awesome. Mm. Mm. Yeah, I bet it is. I bet it is very true. um, oh my goodness. That's it's like the topic is sadness. Like my first marriage. You know, pretty sad. Okay, Creaky. But thank you for switching my channel over to BG's radio. Okay, thank you, Creaky. Um, well, anyway, I guess I can continue on as Creaky makes his way out. And we have switched over to BG's radio on Pandora. This is gonna be some of the songs that are coming on. This one by Paul Davis, I Go Crazy. Um, wow, like listening to those sad songs. mm, and like it said, oh my goodness. So, you know, the, some of the sadness from this month over that breakup. Um, I just, we tried it one more time. Like I said, I knew this guy 11 years ago. And, you know, one more time, the hope is, the hope for that relationship is kind of, you know, my friend, that I have now, he says, it's over, you know. Um, to know that it's over. And that's that's very true. But for this, to build this survey tape and to acknowledge that sadness, um, and to own that emotion, to own sadness. I have a feelings wall, and right next to happy is sad. And some of these descriptions of what sadness is, being depressed, down, glum, blue, gloomy, miserable, sorry, ashamed, and heartbroken. You know, um, that those emotions under that umbrella of sadness, and some of the phrases that we describe sadness is bumps, feeling blue, bummed out, having that lump in your throat, down in the mouth, brokenhearted, brokenhearted, um, having a long face, you're crying your eyes out, you just have a case of the blues, your heart sinks, it's like you lost your best friend. And in this case, I did. I had gotten into this cycle of seeing him every day, and I got to the point where I was telling him every day what my feelings were, and he was listening. So I kind of had that law that when I broke up, and I had to go back to what I was doing. But it's one of the reasons why I was on YouNow, because I never did have someone to tell my feelings to, so I started broadcasting. And that last phrase under sadness is beside yourself with grief. And the thing about sadness, my husband passed away Halloween of 2014, and it'll be 3 years in October. And it was sudden death. It was, it was pretty sudden. He died from throat cancer, and we he basically went in on a Thursday. He found out he had cancer, and he died that Friday morning at 4:20 in the morning. This is so it's like how do you deal with that? Knowing that you have sadness in your life, how do you make being happy the sad? And there's so, on the emotional scale, so distant from each other. And just being mindful that there's a progression or a degression, regression, progression and regression. Um, that when you experience happiness and then you go from sadness, there's a regression. And being mindful of those steps instead of being happy and then just dip right down into sadness. To slow down and own each one of those emotions that go into sadness instead of cycling. And that, being bipolar, that cycling, trying to prevent that. And it's being mindful to own each one of those emotions in that scale. Um, and to grasp those feelings. And for some reason, music does that so well. Um, it's and that's the blessing of music is like each decade has this way of capturing the emotion that is going on at the time in unison, throughout society. and and like just switching over from Fleetwood Mac radio into Bee Gees radio is tapping in to a different emotion. That's what's so good about music genres. You can switch in by just changing the channel. And life is like that. You can tap into all these emotions um, like a radio station, you know, tune in here or in tune here and here. And because we're just like this plethora of emotion. And not to be afraid to get, to feel sadness. Um, to do it, to feel sadness in a healthy way. Um, and to know that you're not alone doing it, you know, that's music, to be there and not do it alone. It'll be interesting to review this tape. um, mm, um, and that's the thing, what what makes me sad is endings, but with every ending is a beginning, there's that's and and the thing about endings, it's you don't You true ending. Um, I thought when my husband passed, I thought that's it. He's not physically, he's not physically with me. Yeah, I can't see him every day, but in this past 3 years, the relationship that I have with, Bill has transformed into this anchor, this angel, this he's watching me. And that I know that I have someone looking out for me in my best interests and in that other realm. That I have someone in my corner. And that thought of there's someone that I know very personally. I don't dream about him that often, but when I visit, it's a visit to with him let me know I'm still here. That I haven't left you. That I'm still around. I'm still watching over you. So, I thought it's him, but he's just present in a different way. And the only thing, it's learning how to transition into the next phase of my life, and know how much he had an impact. And and he's had such a great influence. He he was always in my corner. And once you've had that, had that kind of support, it's hard to not ever think that to I can't ever think that I'm alone, even though I might be alone. There's I have feelings of loneliness. Don't get me wrong, I do feel lonely, but that transition from being alone, like I'm the only one here, don't have that. I spent so many years, even in a group of people that said that they supported me. I'd be like, no, I'm alone in this. I'm alone in this fight of living. No one truly understands me. But it was after Bill's death, I gained this peace about me that wherever I go, someone's there watching over me. And I never thought death would do that. A lot of times you hear that, death brings on this sense of loneliness that can overcome a set, can make you suicidal. But the essence of all of this is your mindset. Um, it that loss transitioned into a gain never knew possible. It changed. It changed my spirituality. It put depth to it. Um, it got me into all different facets of reality. It brought me into the world of the unknown, the unseen. It deepened my faith, um, and faith in things that I never thought I would believe in before. It, I I didn't know what to believe until after his passing. Um, so I'm not afraid of being sad today. I just know it's one more emotion on that scale. But it doesn't have to, you know, experience sadness doesn't have to debilitate me like it has in the past, where, I got suicidal or it got to that point where I didn't want to live anymore. Um, and granted, you have to realize, I'm making this tape. I'm making this tape after a week of, being on that increase in the Risperdal shot. You know, now if you would have asked me this question, um, that 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 increased dosage, I don't know. I don't know what type of sadness I would have been feeling, but that was the whole gist of preparing myself, preparing my body for the fact that I was gonna definitely be feeling sadness over this breakup, and doing the measures of psychiatrist and telling him this is the stuff that I'm dealing with right now, and I need help. I need help getting through it, and that's one thing that medication is valuable in that respect to to your body when it's depleted. Um, um, to know that right at this moment, right in the here and now, with oh, there's somebody in my guest queue. I did not know that. Oh, they're not there anymore. I'm sorry. Whoever was trying to guest, I'm sorry that I didn't notice you. My screen, I try to see who's in by keeping a tab of my audience in this zone where I can see who's in the audience and also sees in the gray area. Um, Baby, come back, right? That feeling, right? When you're just so sad that just want them back, but knowing that mm, I don't know. Mm, Learning how to keep moving on. You have that feeling you want to go back, to move forward, to sit with that feeling. It's it's challenging, and the essence of all of this is taking the time. When you're so busy and you're just numbing, and you don't take the time to be connected with your emotions, um, or as a friend of mine says, to relax. You know, to be one with who you are. You're worth that. You're worth time. Nothing's more important than having that connection with yourself. It solves a lot of future problems if you can take that time to just be with you. You know, this is I love this. What a fool believes. I remember this when I was growing up in the 70s. I was so small and singing this song, the Doobie Brothers. um, mm, mm, surely know he sees wise man has the power to be. I never know. I never know how. I never know where I'll transition to. Sometimes when I do these things, hey, um, uh, here's a friend from the past. How are you doing? Having a friend from California. Are you able to guest, or are you still on your phone? I've 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 seen. I haven't been on my Instagram too much, and but I'll review my Instagram and see some of your posts there. But how's everything going as far as because you experienced a loss this year, your sister. how you I'm glad you're, you know, making the ramp up. You know, it's especially with grief, having somebody in your corner. Like you said, you have a new guy in your life. That always helps. You know, especially if he's very positive and understanding about, you know, those moments of grief that you might have. So encouraging in your life. Mm. Mm. Right now, I'm just listening to. I had someone. I was listening to Fleetwood Mac radio earlier, and then a guy named Creaky Walker, or Creek Walker, came in. Yeah, that's good. Ooh, somebody a little bit older that has more life experience is very helpful. Um, he's seen some things. he's he's seen he's lived through some experiences, so he can share them with you and give you inspiration that, you know, time does heal. You know. Mm, see, you have somebody else. Welcome somebody else. No, it's just yeah, yeah. I mean, I think especially when you're dealing with sadness, to to build that support network of people that can encourage in that time. You know, I've in this past month since I've had that breakup, it's been valuable to reconnect with people in my life that have always been encouraging to me. So reconnected with old friends. Um, um, been utilizing some support networks um, in my area. I mean, I have them scrolling on the screen, and just knowing that it's just a process to go through, that it doesn't have to define me, that my sadness doesn't have to define me. It's an emotion. Um, to own it, but at the same time, know that that's not all. Hmm. So you say you have moved on with that last relationship, and mm, yeah, yeah, it's like, you know, I have someone in my life that helps me make that transition over. to know that I deserve happiness, and not to be in a relationship where I'm always sad, or wondering if gosh, I mean, some relationships are where you always feel like you're playing the same tape over and over, you know, that you can't get past something. And those are hard relationships where you just can't get past the tape that's playing over and over. Um, it's like, you just get to the point where you're just sick of it, you know, that you can't move on. And sometimes ending those kind of relationships is the only way to heal. Even um, and sometimes those relationships are hard to let go. Benefit, for your benefit, to take the reins and move on. Hmm. But I'm glad that taking your power back, and um, you've made it a decision to move forward. You know, and sometimes with sadness, that's all you can do, um, is make that conscious decision to be happy. And there, yeah, there was this chart that I found, um, that I've used it as like there there's a scale. There's a scale in happiness, and there's things that you can do. Like, there's certain things you can do to be happy. Like, there's certain activities you can do in order to create happiness in your life. And me having that scale, um, like, my happiness incorporates a lot of my, uh, yeah, you were in so much pain. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, you just had to find love. And you just met that guy randomly, yeah. When you're ready, yeah. When you're ready to find love, it's amazing how there it is, right? Yeah, yeah. It's very, yeah, you're so right, Alyssa. Well, there's a new sun rising. Mm, mm. Oh, I'm so glad you popped in today. Yeah, I know. And that's what happens. The times when it just happens without your input. Those are the good moments. Like, wow, I didn't plan this. Especially for me, planning shit. Oh, it scared you when he asked you out? Well, you were, yeah. It's okay. Oh, right. Oh, you got it through that friend network, huh? I made it. I'm not one to date friends of friends. I kind of want my own little, I kind of want to do my own little, try to get out of that friend network. Oh, what did he see in you? Hmm. Well, your personality. Oh, he said you were beautiful. Oh, that's good. That's a plus when they can say that you're beautiful, as part of their, that they can say you're beautiful, you know, when they see that. Um, because, like, because beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And if they use that kind of language to describe you, it's like they are, um, they're not just looking at, they're looking at you as a whole person. They're just not looking at you in pieces, you know, and they see you, they see you in front of you, like you're like a person in front of them, and they're trying to make that connection. And there are just when people can just like see right through you, and you can feel that, you know, like they're not stopping, that like they're just like like you're a ghost or something. I know, and that's the challenge, when we have when we have those complications with trust. I don't like to call them trust issues. I just, when we have our beliefs about trust, and our beliefs and attitudes, our past behaviors with trust, what do we need to see in order to believe in someone, you know, especially when we have to see where that person is not going to hurt us. Um, and it's okay to demand those things, you know. It's okay to have those boundaries and know that I need these things in order to be healthy. You and acknowledging that, like, there I know for me to feel healthy in a relationship, I need the space to keep doing the things that keep me healthy. And I need to feel that I have to sacrifice me to um, to be in a relationship with you. Well, I'm getting better. Like I said, I started coming back on YouNow to make these to make videos because my broadcasts go to my YouTube channel and they're recorded. So I've been using this as a means to do a series that I'm working on, the Viscit method. Oh, that's okay. But I've been working on this series on my YouTube channel under this, and that's mental health recovery, and I'm making a survey tape, and it's just different questions that you go through, and then each one I kind of answer those questions on each one of my broadcasts. And sometimes I have somebody I interact with if I'm live, just to get some feedback. But this in that this the question that's being answered in this broadcast is what makes me sad, you know. And it should be a good you know. Hello, everyone in the audience. Oh, my Mother's Day was great. I had a great Mother's Day because this year my Mother's Day was on my birthday, May 14th. And I actually, got to spend time with my mom. I took her to bingo, and we, at that time, right around that time, the breakup was starting, and so I got to, talk to my mom and do some feedback with her, and she said, just let it happen, don't do anything, just let it happen. It'll be okay, so, it's been a month. It's been a month of, with the breakup, and yeah, I did. I was dating someone that I I just I don't know why I didn't call. I I had some friends locally that I spoke with, and yeah, but it's good. It's good. I'm I'm doing well. But it's it's just all it is a life transition. Getting back from um, getting back from that. Being, when you're going out with somebody and you're just like you're just enmeshed with them, and then you have the breakup, and then all of a sudden it's like that drastic separation. Um, and a lot of him was like they're so extreme emotions, that it didn't give me a chance to like feel stuff in between. It was just like, the emotions were like so up and down, up and down, up and down. And that's not healthy for me. Yeah, and so that's the thing about that relationship was like it's all the time happy and then sad and happy and sad, and that cycling was tearing me up, and I I couldn't break up with him. but he broke up with me. And I and I'm sitting with that and owning it, and being grateful that he did it, that he ended it. um, and because I couldn't make the decision to. Um, so I've been reading some books on, like how to break an addiction to a person. I have that book. Um, and just getting back into um, some things that worked for me in the past. And and getting healthy, just getting emotionally healthy, and realizing what is me and what isn't healthy for me, and just returning to the things that are healthy for me, and owning that. So, and it's good, you know. I got back into my volunteer work, and actually I'm doing a lot of training. I've had trainings like every week since the breakup, like a major training. So, and getting used to my job schedule now that I work on weekends and everything. One of the things that I did, I changed my job schedule to work on weekends so I could see him when he was off on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, because he worked on the weekends too. And now that's my schedule, and knowing that it's my schedule, and not it be like the side effect of being with him or anything. It's just, I made the conscious choice to keep that schedule. But yeah, I am staying strong. But part of these tapes and everything is to get my strength back, and yeah. And, yeah, it it's just all part of it. Well, we're in the last. It's gonna. This is a wow. The happiness, the happiness broadcast was about an hour and 20 minutes, and I knew the length of how long this broadcast was going to go. But we're coming up, kind of 7 minutes on the hour. So just to recap, I'm going to, end it at the 2-hour mark. Wow, like a lot of emotions, experienced during this broadcast, just with looking, you know. I didn't know exactly how it was going to pan out. What was going to come up on this topic. But it's great, It was great to meet Creaky in the beginning of the hour. In the first, and he helped me switch from Fleetwood Mac radio to Bee Gees radio, and to set the tone. And then having a old friend, from the first time that I was broadcasting back in December and January. It's great to have Alyssa in the audience. kind of review, what both of us have kind of been doing in this area. Um, I, uh, I think the essence, what I've been getting from my training, my past trainings this month, with dealing with other people, it's like just removing that judgment. Oh my goodness, give yourself a break. Um, Removing that judgment, um, especially about our emotions. Uh, and own it. Just own, like, if you're feeling sad, it's emotion. It doesn't define you. It's just an emotion. You have to get into the depressive state of being that can lead to suicide. And, like, my platform, suicide awareness. How can you experience emotions of sadness without dipping into that area where you don't want to live anymore? Um, there are healthy ways. There are healthy ways to embrace that emotion, to feel it. Music, great outlet. Um, it doesn't have, music doesn't have to be a trigger into suicidal thoughts. Um, Music can allow you to feel that emotion, but know that you're not alone feeling it. That there was somebody who wrote that song that felt that emotion and was able to, bring so many other people listening to that song that know that emotion. And to get out of this mindset of you're alone and feeling that feeling, that you're not alone feeling what sadness is. We all feel it. And you don't have to be alone in feeling that, to the point where you're just so devastated that nobody else on this world, and nobody else feels the way I do. We have gotten close to your emotion. Someone, somewhere has been there. Um, and then just a discussion about the emotional scale. Happiness is on that top, on the top of the scale, and sadness, instead of cycling from happy to sad, happy to sad, happy to sad, take the time to feel the different emotions and regression from happiness to sadness. Know the regression, and then also know that there's a progression from sadness to happiness. There's steps. In feeling each, and be mindful of where you are on that scale and what you can do to get to the next emotion. And protect your happiness. You know, um, guard it. Guard happiness with your life. You know, but know that there are times, always a time and place, and it's not not a plus or a negative or good or bad. Every emotion has a time. One thing that I love is Inside Out, the movie by Pixar. Take a look at that emotion, take a look at that film, and know how joy and sadness play a part, um, of our emotions. That's actually a very good film to check out. But on that note, come to the end of this broadcast. And once again, if you haven't already, you can go to my profile. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. There's videos that the mental health recovery playlist. So we'll have the Viscit method, my videos for the Viscit method, and just some projects that I've done along the way before I've gotten into this, um, and I haven't. I've listed some resources, some mental health resources. NAMI.org. If you need anything with mental health. But what I really value is their crisis hotline. So if you're in crisis, go to NAMI.org, and you can talk on the phone, or they have a chat option. So just one more resource there. But it's been a good cast, so I'll let you guys go. Alyssa, it was nice seeing you, and I'm going to end this. Thank you a lot for being here. Thank you for helping me with my recovery. I hope I've helped with yours. And I'll see you later. Bye, everyone.